So two things I did recently, and I'm saying this as an intro to this podcast. So I listened to a phone call that Murdaugh made about his living conditions and his living situation. And my message to him would be, get used to it. I also watched Dave's live stream yesterday where he read out that letter that Sandra apparently wrote, the 10-page letter, and I'm going to give you my views on that. I did end up falling asleep once again, but that had nothing to do with me not enjoying the live stream. Dave is always very entertaining, whether I agree with him or not. It just happened to be very late when he did the live stream. So this is what's coming up on this podcast. Grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a sandwich or a cake and listen to Simcast's podcast. So hello, my wonderful subs and other people from other places that come and listen to me or watch me or, come and listen to my podcast. I really appreciate all of you. And I know some subjects that I talk about are more popular than others, and that's fine. And I also know that my opinions are not often popular. And, this channel has racked up over 300,000 lifetime views with just me. No, I'm not showing you any drone footage. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm nothing special. It's just me basically giving you what my often very unpopular opinions are. So, take it as I take it as it is, and I take the rough with the smooth. So anyway, I want to talk about the Murdaugh case and what the jurors have since said about, oh God, there's some noise behind me. Really, really not a nice thing to have to go through when you're trying to record a podcast. It's a Sunday and I just want peace and quiet. I just want peace. So anyway, the Murdaugh jurors have spoken out. About 3 or 4 of them have spoken about the verdict and why they came to the conclusions that they did. And I think it's very interesting that many of the things that they have said that convinced them are many of the things that convinced me, but I was already convinced. I also want to talk about Dave and the 10-page letter that Sandra wrote that he read out. It was Dave being on a soapbox and, I'm not on either side when it comes to Dave or the Ruzek. I'm not on any side. I've learned to be very neutral, and I've learned that being on either side doesn't make you objective. But what I can say is that I thought the 10-page letter and everything surrounding it, Dave reading it, I didn't see what the point of it all was. That's just my opinion. Didn't see what the point of reading, regurgitating everything that we've already heard. I didn't see what he was trying to achieve by doing that. But, it was good viewing, and Dave is very entertaining. Dave can be quite entertaining. I acknowledge that. And he's very much loved by his subs. So the Murdaugh jurors were quite diverse. There were some African Americans, there were white Americans as well, there were male and there were female, and I think he had quite a diverse group of people. There was a diverse group of people on the jury, and they came to the conclusion, many of them said what really convinced them was the video of Murdaugh at the kennels, and, because he denied being there. And it turns out that Paul's phone had picked up his voice, the fact that he was there just minutes before the incident actually happened. And he denied that he was there. So he was caught in that denial. And also, that was just moments before the incident occurred. I would say that's the strongest piece of evidence in this case. And I would say that is the thing that unequivocally for me proves that the jury made the right decision. One of the jury said that Murdaugh thought that he could talk his way out of this. I completely agree. He thought he could talk his way out of it. And other jurors said that they believe that he did this because he wanted control, that he wanted to control everything, that, he wanted to have, basically be in control, and he didn't feel in control. So it was part of him trying to control his life, trying to control his family, and trying to be in control. I believe that's part of the reason. They gave other reasons too. But many of them also said it wasn't as one single reason that made him do this, that there was a collective, it just doesn't happen for one reason. There was probably a build up and probably a combination of factors that made him do this. I think that his wife was catching up to what was going on, and I didn't think he wanted her to know. I think the incident with Mallory Beach, I think that was going to expose him and expose his financial dealings and expose what he was doing. It was going to bring attention to the family that he didn't want. He didn't want that. He didn't want that attention because of what he was doing. So I think it's partly because of the Mallory Beach incident. I think the Mallory Beach incident actually kickstarted everything that happened. It was like one thing after, it led to one thing after another. And I think that, him having to appear in court and his son having to appear in court was going to put unnecessary attention on him that he didn't want. So I think that's part of the reason why Paul had to go. That's my personal opinion. I also do think, yes, he wanted to be in control of everything, and he didn't want his wife to know, or his son, everything that he was up to. So, them not being around anymore meant that they wouldn't find out all of the things that he'd been doing for all these years. When you have secrets, and I guess we all have them, but when you live in a family that's full of secrets, and, there was full of secrets within this family, and you've got secrets to hide, I think that is a very good foundation for everything that happened. And unfortunately, his wife and his son were an unfortunate result of all of that. Secrets, financial issues, wanting to keep those secrets to yourself, not wanting anyone to know, not wanting to be exposed. All of those things are a catalyst for what happened, in my opinion. And that's very much what the juror said. It wasn't just one thing. It was a combination of factors. And I very much agree. As for him, getting an appeal or winning an appeal, I don't believe that he has any chance whatsoever. None. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think he has a chance at all. And if I was going to give a percentage, I would say he has 0% chance or 0.1% chance. And the 0.1% chance would just be because he has every right to do that if he so chooses. Everybody in his position has the right to appeal. And I don't think it's going to be successful. That's my personal opinion. So I'm going to get on to Dave now and his rereading of this 10-page letter that Sandra wrote. Like I said, I don't take sides in this. I'm not on any side. Dave does his thing. And like I said, Dave can be very entertaining, and he has a lot of support from his subs. Subs that, agree with him, and subs that support him, and subs that, want him to find out the truth. I don't think reading a letter that Sandra may or may not have written under the circumstances or within the circumstances helps anybody but Dave. I don't think it solves anything. I understand that he is friends with Ronnie and Cindy, and he's very much a voice for them, and he very much will defend them. And there's a lot of love bombing going on there. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it serves a purpose. However, Dave is very entertaining. People enjoy watching him. And he has his own unique type of charisma, and whether we agree with him or don't agree with him, and I don't agree with him on most things when it comes to this case, the Watts case, I guess he has a right to have a platform and have his say and defend who he wants to defend. But I'm just not sure why. And like I said, I am definitely not on the Rusek side. I definitely am not. Like I said, I'm no fan of the crowd justice, and I think that should all come to an end very, very, very swiftly. But I don't think it serves a purpose trying to build that kind of atmosphere between people. I don't think it serves anything or solves anything. Let's remember who Chris Watts actually is. And let's remember where the blame should actually lie, because I think that Dave's feelings of negativity are pointed at the wrong people, and it should be more pointed to the person who is responsible for all of this, who is responsible for all of us actually knowing each other, because a lot of us wouldn't even know each other if it wasn't for this case. So I think he is misdirecting his feelings of negativity, and it should be directed to the person who actually created all of this in the first place, and that's Chris Watts.